will say much, but you have to ask him a question.
What is something that Beth does that not many people know that you'd like them to know?
Oh no.
People probably know this if they pay attention or listen to her, but when she goes to bed, we have like 18 pillows on the bed. She has pillows under her knees, a bunch of pillows around her, a pillow on top of her. She's got mouth tape, she's got the little eye covers.
One blanket that covers straight
Yep.
under the nostrils.
And she
Can't touch
sleeps
the
on her
nostrils.
back the whole time, blanket here, sometimes blanket around.
Yeah, it goes like this.
Super cold, which I like personally, but most people, if they stay with us, it's too cold.
It's gotta be freezing.
Yeah, it's like 65 at least, right?
Yeah.
Most of the time. There's a fan in the room.
Ceiling fan, side fan.
Yep. And then we have a new cat/kitten, Winston, that I would like to sleep in the room, but it always wants to lay right under her pen. So we shut the door now, unfortunately. Yeah, I think Winston thinks Bethany's his mom.
Mama.
So I wouldn't mind if the cat was here sleeping on me, but he doesn't like me as much. So
He does. He just likes me more.
So I guess that's the first thing that comes to mind.
Yeah.
It's a different experience being there past 7 p.m.
But you already knew all that stuff, like when we were long distance.
Most
I was
people
like,
don't though.
yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, I know, but you were like not surprised
Right.
once I finally moved in when we got married. Like, he saw it all through FaceTime, like the this.
Yeah. But what was crazy is like that was a huge emphasis, but something we talked about early on, like the food was a weird thing to me because she kind of tracks her stuff now, but before it used to just be a large bowl of stuff mixed together. What did you eat at first? It was like
It's still the same stuff. It was like
yeah, but now it's
ground beef.
portioned out a little bit.
Yeah, ground beef, beets, avocado, butternut squash, jasmine rice. So good.
Yeah, but it was just one like
It was a huge bowl,
mixing
like
bowl.
yeah, like a baking,
That
like
she
when you
just
do
grazed
cookies.
on.
Yeah, it was a huge mixing bowl. He was like,
So it was one meal per day, just eaten throughout the day, basically.
yeah, I would just like eat some of it, leave it out on the counter, or put it back in the refrigerator in the big bowl, and then come back to it, eat some more, and then just repeat that.
Any seasoning, or is this just like
Salt.
Lots of
No, my gosh, just
Just salt.
this is how we do it, ladies
Yeah.
and gentlemen.
So-
Salt is the way forward.
It's still that, but it's kind of measured out now, portioned out.
Yeah,
a
it's
lot
like
more.
still the same food.
Yeah,
I've just evolved.
yeah.
We've matured.
Because that was a topic. Like that's kind of a box you're not checking, or
Yeah, it's like
something
low-hanging
you're
fruit.
yeah low hanging fruit that you're not really paying attention to. It's just like what are your macros? How much are you taking in?
I wasn't doing any intra-workout stuff.
Right.
I don't think I had my first meal until 2 p.m. Yeah. He was like, what are you doing? How are you making it to the games? I don't know.
Oh dear.
I'm not superstitious, but I have like rituals that I do every single day that's transformed throughout our time together, but it stayed the same. Like every morning is dedicated to like my devotional journaling, just like my time, because that's where I feel like I'm the most coherent is in the mornings. So that's always been there, but that's transformed into like red light, breathing exercises, meditation, cold plunge, then devotional, like stuff like that. It's the whole thing in the morning. It's like a 3-hour process. And luckily I have the luxury of doing that. Not everyone does, but yeah, it's a whole thing. And I like to do it every morning. Like,
What happens if you don't do it? Like, do you feel like an anxiety about it? Do you not feel whole for the day or at service to others? Like,
yeah,
what?
I think that's the biggest thing is like I don't feel like I can serve and impact people because I don't feel like completely present. I think that's the best way to put it. I don't feel like anxiety. I'm just like dang, it's just missed opportunities sometimes to like settle yourself in the mornings. So, but I've gotten better of, if I can't do everything, do something. Or like on my drive here, always it's like no music, and that's my time to like talk to God and pray if I'm in the car by myself. So at least having, like, if I know I can't do the other stuff, I know I have at least 10 minutes in the car where I can like talk. So stuff like that. When I'm with Randy though, we just kind of sit there in silence.
Most of the time. Talk about what you're doing here sometimes.
Yeah.
Beforehand.
Yeah.
That was one thing I think she's gotten better at, is having a plan before coming here.
Except
Very
for the
much
day.
so when we met, it was kind of show up and,
Hope for the best.
all right, what are we doing today?
Yeah.
So I think that's good, because even though she's had a coach and somebody programming for her, it's good to, in my mind, to kind of mentally prep for what you're about to do. You're not always going to know what you have, like in a competitive season or when you show up to the floor, like you might not always know or have a heads up. But I think in training, especially with a low back issue that's reoccurring, you should kind of have an idea of what you can modify or what you might need to change or work around, or even if you are going to do everything, just mentally prepare, like what do I need to do to get there, to get warmed up and prepared to do that. So
that's part of like, I think reinventing myself as an athlete is, I feel like I've gotten away with shooting from the hip because I'm athletic enough. And even like prepping for the open and stuff like quarterfinals, not even looking at the workouts and be like, okay, this is how I'm going to do the workout, this is how I'm going to break it up. It was usually just like, just go unbroken because you can, and just do it. And I had no problems with that. But the last couple of years, that's no longer a system that I have in place because I haven't had consistent training in the gym, and things irritate my back. So, and it's not like not trying to be mean to myself, but I'm not as fit as I was a couple of years ago due to the lack of training. And so that's part of like a new system that I'm trying to put into place, is like be a little bit more prepared during quarterfinals, break things up, have a game plan. And that's not natural for me. So it takes a lot of effort, and it takes people that keep me accountable to that, to be able to put that stuff into place. It's really hard though. But that was like a big saying in my head like a couple of weeks ago, is like, your old systems are no longer working. Old systems are no longer working. So what are you gonna do? You can quit, give up, or pivot. So there's been a lot of pivoting the last couple of years, and especially the last 2 seasons. Being super vulnerable, and a lot of uncertainty, and failing, a lot of failing to be able to move forward.
I personally don't think it means that she can't get back there. It's just that's not where she's at right now. So, like she said, pivot right now, and then when that fitness is there again, then maybe, I'm not saying regress back to not being mindful of what's going on, but now you can do things unbroken. Now you can have, multiple options in ways to approach a workout. But right now it's kind of about being super careful and being conservative and just making sure she's available.
Yeah. So I think at the games you have to, right? Like, you have to have game plans at the games, but you have to be able to just like go. You have to be that fit. But it's a privilege to be that fit, and I haven't necessarily earned that privilege quite yet. And so I think that's kind of what these last 2 seasons are about for me, is like earning the privilege to be that fit and to be able to like fully express myself on the floor and not take things for granted. Like, I think I took a lot of things for granted at the beginning of my season, or at the beginning of my career, and just got away with stuff. And it still wasn't the placements that I wanted, and I was like almost offended that I wasn't doing better, but I wasn't doing everything that I needed to do, like the low-hanging fruit that he's saying, and taking advantage of like, don't have your first meal at 2 p.m. Stuff like that. intra-workout stuff, mindset stuff, sleeping hygiene, like all of that stuff. I was drinking alcohol, dude. First year, 2017 at the games.
Go on, couple of bevies.
Not there.
Couple of bevies.
No.
Go on, Bev.
Basically, between like regionals and the games, I was going out every other weekend and getting blackout drunk. Yeah. So no wonder my first year I got like 22nd at the games. Like I got spanked because
Wow.
I was not prepared. Not even the slightest prepared.
Couple of bevies.
Some people used to do that because they could, because like, you know, back in the day, you can't, I guess.
Yeah.
But,
What would you have? Go on, you might as well. What was your drink of choice?
oh, I love tequila. So margaritas, especially being in Texas, those things were the best.
I wasn't around for these days.
Yeah, it was, pre-Randy days.
I caught the very tail end of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Couple of cheeky margs. Go on, Miguel.
But anyways, so we're learning. We've gotten better, and I think like you can't just change that stuff overnight. Like it just doesn't happen, right? And so I think throughout my career, I've started to like chip away at that stuff. And now I just feel like I'm at a place where like, yeah, old systems no longer serving me for where I'm trying to go or where God is trying to take me. So, or at least that's how I see it. And so new systems have to be put into place, which is stretching, which is pressing, which is pruning. And it's hard. Very hard. There's a lot of uncertainty and you doubt things. But yeah, and that's just kind of where we're at. I guess we should turn on the music for them because I feel bad.
Yeah, I wonder.
Go on then.
Put some bangers on.
Go on then. Like literally, what was the workout? I've got no idea.
So
I think, yeah.
Right now we're doing 4 rounds of 25 calories on each device. So C2 bike, row, ski, and then you heart break right at the end, echo bike.
The heartbreak.
It's not fun doing that last. Let's just put it that way.
Sure.
I'm trying to increase intensity and speed over the 4 sets. And then you have like 3 to 5 minutes of rest depending on what you need.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing like taking a couple days off and feeling like you don't know how to work out. Man, that's all it takes. It takes like 3 days of not doing any type of cardio or monostructural to make you feel like you are unfit. So that is where we're at right now. It hurts. It's not fun, but gotta love the pain. Gotta love the suck.
Brutal. How long do you normally spend in the gym?
Too long. Like sometimes I do like the monostructural at home, so that's like an hour or 2, and then I'll come here around like 12 or 1, and then stay here till like 3 or 4. So it's like a total of like 4 to 5 hours.
What keeps you going? Can I actually ask, like, what is your, why do you actually keep doing this? Because some people burn out, some people are like, I need a break, but like, yeah, what is your actual why?
I think there's like multiple whys, but I think for me, growing up, we were always like a very fit family. And so it's kind of like just embedded in my DNA to like work out and enjoy the suffer. Because my dad was very, very athletic. And
what did he do? Did he have a sport or like a...
Everything, but he mostly did tennis,
okay.
like in high school and college. Bad knee, and so just got into like cycling and stuff, but never like anything professional level, but just very into suffering, being very hard-headed about it. So I get definitely a lot of me from him. And then I think my mom's really athletic too. Like I get my body from my mom. She's very athletic looking. Has a lot of muscle on her, and then she played sports like in high school, but she's from like a really small city in Texas, so you had to play everything if you wanted to play something, kind of thing. So I think that was like a big background for me. Like example, anytime we went on like a road trip and it was like we drove there, it's like, okay, everyone get out of the car when we fill up on gas. We're running around the gas station. We're doing push-ups. We're doing squats. Like we're in the airport, you know, holding on to like the metro rail, doing pull-ups, running back and forth. So it was just like crazy things like that all the time.
And then gymnastics was a huge part of my life. So I was there from like 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. as like a 7-year-old, 8, 9, 10. Very high competitive gymnast. So that was a huge background of mine. And I actually found like a love for like conditioning during that time because that's basically what the mornings were for us. It was like a conditioning piece where it was like 2 hours of like running and then like all the conditioning that we would do in gymnastics. And I became very fond of that. And I like love gymnastics too, but I liked the conditioning part more, I think. Yeah. And so that kind of just sent me on a journey after gymnastics of like doing a lot of things. I did like triathlons, long distance running, half marathons, Tough Mudders, bodybuilding, and I think I just enjoy challenging myself, I guess is the biggest thing. But it doesn't not come with like, I don't know even how to put this, but I've wanted to quit many times, you know? I think when it comes easy, then you want to keep going, right? But I think I'm in a pivotal part in my career where things aren't coming as easy as they used to. And so there's been many moments over the last, I would say 3 years where I have felt burnt out because I'm trying to put like a square peg into a round hole, and it's not working. It's not serving me. And I'm not as fit as I was because I haven't had the consistent training in the gym. And I think when you're in physical pain or emotional pain too, and you can't do what you love, I think it's easy to feel burnt out. And that's kind of what I've experienced over the last 2 years is like, dang, like I can't express myself in the gym like I used to because I'm in physical pain. Do I like this anymore? Do I love this anymore? And so it's just like had me questioning a lot. And yeah, I think 2022 was the first time I went to a competition and I did not want to be there. It was like Wodapalooza 2022. I was like crying before each day started because I was like, I thought I really loved this. And I like got on the floor and I just wanted to quit in the middle of the workout. And like that scared me because I was like, I've never felt that before in anything I've ever done sports-wise. And I thought that was honestly the end of my career at that point in 2022. I was like, well, I told myself if I don't want to do it, like if I'm not having fun, that I'm done, you know? Got back, my back went out on me like 3 times between Wodapalooza and quarterfinals. Like I did the open announcement for 22.1 with Danielle, and I hadn't been able to train up until that point, and so I was almost like, I'm not gonna do that. And then I went out there and got spanked so hard.
What a word, spanked.
Spanked.
Yeah.
And it was just like not a great feeling, but it made sense because like I just hadn't been able to train. Got back, my back went out on me again, barely survived the open in 2022. Back went out on me again right before quarterfinals, and I went into quarterfinals like not being able to do an air squat. And I did the first event, my back went out on me, and that basically took me out for the whole season. And then from there I was like, well, you know, usually after like 6 weeks I feel better with my back, and it was basically a whole year where I was in just like physical pain and couldn't get into the gym and just really felt burnt out, and that I was just like done. Like I was just like, this isn't working for me anymore. Like I'm in pain. And I had like a long talk with Randy, and he was just kind of like, I understand where you're coming from and I understand what's going on, but I think you owe it to yourself to see yourself through to the other side of this and to not make a big life decision, because this is my career, right? Like to just be like, I quit, like what am I gonna do like after that, right? Didn't go to college, didn't do anything. And he's like, I think you owe it to yourself to not quit when it gets hard. And I think that just kind of stuck with me of like, okay, yes, you're right, even though this really freaking sucks, you know, and I'm just in so much pain. I don't know how I'm gonna get to the other side. And then on top of that, having the feelings of being burnt out on top of physical pain is just like the worst combo ever. And that's kind of like when I started my faith journey like in 2019, But then that's where it really started to pick up, was during that time. So it's like I had the dichotomy of uncertainty, frustration, pain emotionally, pain physically, but also these feelings of peace and that it was going to be okay getting to the other side, even though I had no idea how that was going to happen. And so 2023 came, and it was kind of like the same story where there was a lot of pain. My back kept on going out on me, but Randy was like, just keep showing up. Like, we don't know how the season's going to play out. You don't know what workouts are going to come out. And so literally it was like day by day as the open announcements came out last year, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. And then it would come out, and then I'm like, okay, I think this is doable. Like, that was the word that came to my mind. That was the theme all year long, was everything was doable. And so I just kept on putting literally one foot in front of the other, made it through the open somehow, made it through quarterfinals somehow, even though my back actually went out on me in the middle of the weekend. I almost had to like pull out completely. And then somehow, some way, like, just made it through the whole season. And it was such a cool experience, because I think a lot of people are probably questioning, like, why are you doing this? It's not working out for you. You seem like you're in a lot of pain. And like, even with the Rogue Invitational last year, like, I had to stand there for 2 events because I just like wasn't ready to do the events that were given to us. Like, it was 265-pound back squat, and I was like, dude, I haven't done a squat over 200 pounds in like a year and a half, so I wasn't gonna go out there and do it. So I respected myself enough to just stand there, which was really hard.
What was that like? What was going through your head? Because bearing in mind, not a lot of people a lot of people are spectators.
Yeah.
People are very good at spectating and making comments
Same
as
here.
well.
Yeah.
But what is that like to like actually stand there and like, excuse me, you want some loving?
Honestly, that was...
To look out, yeah.
So I think for me, that was the first time where I was able to celebrate myself on the competition floor, was during Rogue. Like, I was the happiest. Like, I was like going across the finish line with my arms up, which I had never done in my entire career. So honestly, I had a lot of peace during that, even though it made no sense to anybody else. But I think that's part of faith, right? Is like the peace that makes no sense, the peace that surpasses all understanding, is that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, I think going back to like, why do I keep doing this? I think because when you say yes, when other people say no, or it doesn't make sense to other people, you get to experience miracles happen. And that was kind of like all of last year for me. Like, I did things on the competition floor that I had not done in training for like a year and a half. Like, there was so many things that I was asked to do at semifinals, at the games, even during quarterfinals, that I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. Like, I really don't know. And then I would just get on the floor, and then my body would just kind of like take over. And it was it was a very specific thing that I think God gave me. Like, it's a miracle between me and him. And it was just so specific that it wouldn't make sense to anybody else other than me. And so that's why I continue to say yes when it makes no sense, is because that keeps happening over and over again. And so, yeah, I don't know when my time is done. I really don't. Like, no one knows, right? Here on earth, but like us specifically in my career, like, I don't know. But I think it will be a gut feeling that it is time to be done. And I just feel like these whispers of like, you're just getting started, which that also does not make any sense at all, because this is year 7 for me. And there's just been a lot of turmoil, a lot of things not going my way, a lot of failures, I guess, from the outside looking in, of like, she's not getting better, she keeps getting worse. She keeps being in pain, her back keeps going out on her. But I think if I can like figure this out and put the puzzle pieces together correctly, that my career will just be getting started. So that is the hope. Like, I have hopes of getting on the podium. I really think that if the stars can align and like things really just work in my favor, I think it can happen. And it's okay if it doesn't, but I think it's also okay to have like a goal in mind. But I think the main goal for me is like to be able to fully express myself as an athlete on the main floor, which is the CrossFit Games. I would love that experience in itself. And that may mean not the podium, you know, that might mean 20th place. I don't know, but like, I know it'll be a feeling that I'm like, that was me fully expressing myself and I'm proud of that. Check. Okay, I can move on, you know? So I really want that experience. If not, like, this has been a journey in itself, and like, I've learned so much, I've grown so much and continuing to grow. And I think that in itself, those are the things that you have to really look at, is like the journey, as cliche as that sounds, like it's the journey that counts. And when we have all these expectations and wants and we're just hyper focused on that, we really just can't experience like those micro miracles that go on a day-to-day basis. So that's kind of been my journey the last couple of years, is like really just being present and being where my feet are at, so that I can see what God is trying to give me in the day-to-day. Doesn't mean that I'm not like, oh, I just want things to work out. Like, I had my own frustrations during quarterfinals, and I had to like surrender a lot of things over. And I think it's just a continual game of that, of just gotta surrender it over. Like, I have my expectations, I have my wants, and that's okay, but like, gotta give it over. Like, it's gotta be open palms, not closed fists. And so I think that's just like the journey in itself through this whole thing.
And so what's the plan now up until semis? Just business as usual? Yeah,
so the plan is to just do what I can the next like 3 weeks. Basically, I only have like 2 weeks of training, and then we'll know the workouts, and it's just working on the workouts. So obviously, number one is just staying healthy with my back, making sure that everything feels good. And then the second goal would be to get some fitness in and conditioning, because that's where I really lacked in quarterfinals. Like, I was kind of disappointed in my overall performance on some of the stuff. Like, I knew it was going to be low, like my placement and stuff, so I wasn't really worried about that. It was more of like a feeling inside, and I was like, man, I just feel I'm better than that with some of the stuff. So I want to get that feeling back of just feeling like I'm confident with what I can do. So that would be the main goal the next 2 or 3 weeks, is just building some confidence with the movements again, and then just trying to push. My word this year is fierce, and I mean, that can mean so many things, right? And I think the first thing is like, you have to fear less, and then be fearless, and then you can be fierce. And even before that, it's like surrendering a lot of things over to fear less. And so I think I pick a word every year, and I think it's revealed as the year goes on. But obviously, specifically, you can be fierce in the gym and just like push where you can. But first, I have to surrender what I expect to happen every single day in the gym to be able to comfort, be fierce and fearless. So that is where we're at. That is the goal the next 2 weeks. And then, you know, after semifinals, be as fierce as possible between semifinals and the games for 10 weeks and see what happens. Magic can happen.
Let's get it. That's so good. Another day done. Let's go.
Let's go.